take us away.
Good afternoon, Kelsey and Chelsea. How are y'all doing this beautiful Saturday afternoon?
Great.
Yes. I wanted to ask you both, you guys both being in this atmosphere before, who was the vets coming when you guys were coming along to help you prepare for moments like this, the playoffs, and how have you instilled that into Asia, Kirsten, and even Iana?
Whew. I would say my vets really that took me under my wing was in 2016. It was Candace, Elena Beard, NECA, Gumake. It was a hostile environment going into Minnesota. And so it's gonna be, similar, but nothing's really the same. Climate Pledge is a loud arena. I said this last time we were here, it was louder than when I was there in Minnesota in 2016, but I think it's just enjoying the moment and having fun with it. Like you don't get this time back. So just embracing it, and our huddles are even tighter and we're even closer.
I would say this would be the vet. Because really last year was my first playoff experience. Actually, I guess 2019, but we didn't really have any vets on that team. So I would say last year. Yeah. I don't really know how else to answer the question, but yeah, I agree with Chelsea. Just gotta have fun with it. You work so hard to get to this point in the season. And you gotta enjoy it, so that's what we're doing.
Ladies, games 1 and 2 were kind of a defensive struggle, and I think people expected this to be a more offensive series than it has been. What have you guys learned about your team and particularly about your defense throughout the course of these first 2 games?
I think offensively it's been a struggle, for us in terms of I don't know what we usually average, but it's above the 70s. I do know that. And so I think that, Becky always talks about offensively, sometimes you can't control that, but defensively we can. Feel like we've been pretty good, but we can be even better. And there's just moments where there's been a couple breakdowns that get some easy looks, but thought overall from game 1 to game 2, we've grown. And so looking forward to game 3, like you said, it's gonna be a hostile environment. It's gonna be loud, but that's even more to, be united.
I guess for me, in the playoffs, you always see those numbers goes down. Like the shot selection gets tighter. Rotations aren't as long. Things just shore up and get smaller. So I would say defensively, you get even tighter. Everybody knows everybody's plays now at this point. And so those little wrinkles, how you best defend those makes the difference.
I wanted to ask with the small ball lineup, without giving your secret formula away, of course, what are some of the things you took from game 1, game 2, and hope to see better in game 3?
I would just say being scrappers, getting things done. When we're the small lineup, we're significantly undersized. So just getting it done in a different way. We're not just gonna overpower somebody. And then defensively on the glass, we got to be able to rebound out of it. Guards got to get in there and get longer rebounds or even underneath the basket. And so it's really done by committee rather than, the guards staying at the elbows. You have to get a little bit lower. Sometimes it's going to take 2 guards boxing out 1 post. So just being scrappers, I would say.
As the point guard yourself, Chelsea, how do you ensure everyone's getting a good amount of touches on the ball?
I think the way our offense is kind of set up, it finds everybody, it finds people. I said peoples. It finds people in different moments. Our offense has always been super fluid. So there's times in which you want to target or make somebody go or defend some type of action. But the play always isn't for that person, whatever the action is. You have to read it. And that's kind of been our philosophy this whole season. And so we're not about to switch up in playoffs. But there are certain moments and times where if that player's got it going, or it's the matchup we like, or it's in the moment where we see different things on a pick and roll scheme that they're doing, that I might call a different action or a play. It really depends on the game and how they're guarding different actions.
Last one for me, for the both of you. When you guys are not playing basketball, what are some of the things you do in your spare time to mentally unwind from the game?
I like to meditate. I like to do yoga. I like to get in the pool. I like to be in nature. It's been a little gloomy today. But in Vegas, definitely a lot of vitamin D. Hang out with my family and friends, play cards.
For me, I like to cook. Cook person, like I gotta be in the kitchen. It's like kind of my happy place. I watch movies, relax, chill. Along the same lines, just don't really even touch or look at basketball. Just do something that's outside of that gets you in a different kind of headspace.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Guys, go ahead.
Hello. First one for Kelsey. In addition to your on ball usage, you are also, I feel like, one of the more underrated screeners in basketball with the way that they use you to kind of screen for Asia and things of that nature. I guess, where does that mindset come from? Was there a particular coach that kind of ingrained that skill in you?
Nikias, welcome, and I appreciate you. I feel like you see me. Yeah, actually, I kind of learned that from Bill Lambier. Feeling like, we obviously did a lot of like block to block screens. So I was setting more flex screens, but I think Becky has me set more back screens and like cross screens, like diagonals. But I definitely try to stick them because I know, especially with Seattle, like they're just going to stay on me. So if I can give Asia a second to get there, like I really am trying to, I don't know, too, like my family played football. So I feel like I have a little bit of that in me. Just, I don't know if like a linebacker trying to stick them, but I definitely make sure I try to get them. Thanks for seeing me, man. I appreciate that.
No problem. And for Chelsea, like I got in a little bit late, so I'm sorry if this has been asked already. Are you aware that you're shooting like 67% from the field throughout this playoff run, and you're currently on pace for a WNBA record in that regard?
No, not aware of that. I'm just trying to be on pace to get a championship. That's all.
Fair enough. I guess for me, like, maybe a bad question. Like, what does the basket just seem twice as large right now? Because you've been insane from the mid-range area in particular.
No, it doesn't seem large. I think like I'm just getting to my spots. Like I practice a lot of those shots. Like it's just not me just shooting them. And when the games come, like I practice my feet going to the sideline and raising up and shooting. Like it's like we put the work in, especially after practice. We shoot a lot after, before. So the basket doesn't look any bigger. It's just like just being efficient.
I got you. And in pick and roll, I have to end with a pick and roll question. But in pick and roll, particularly when you and Asia are involved, it seems like Seattle's switching those a little bit more often. Like, how are you gauging when to attack the big versus when to feed Asia on those?
I think it's depending on who they have on the floor and who we do as well. Like there's certain moments where they're just like, when we went small, they weren't helping off. Especially if you have KP rising out of the corner, you have Bay coming out of the corner. Like they're just not rotating as much, and it's important to pick your spots. So if we can get Asia rolling to the basket with a guard on the back, we got to give it to her. So it's really dependent on the play, how the flow of the game is going, fouls, how many touches we've gotten in the paint, like all that's kind of going through my head, of when to attack and how to best attack the pick and roll.
Got you. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thanks a lot, ladies. We will see
Quick
you
and efficient.
tomorrow, 12 p.m. Pacific time on ABC Game 3 of the WNBA semifinal. Aces, next door.